He shoved me. The glass shattered behind me, a storm of light and sound. Tiny shards rained down, slicing through my reflection as if the universe was mocking me, fracturing what little remained. Blood slid down my cheek, warm and steady. He stood there, chest heaving, eyes wild. "You are nothing," he spat. I smiled. "Not anymore," I whispered. "You just lost everything." He didn't know yet, but he would. Backstory: the empire built on lies. My father, Arman Rafiq, the man people called a visionary, the man who taught the world about power, control, and dominance. He built an empire from dust and called it family. I was supposed to inherit that illusion one day, his legacy, his empire, his lies. When I was 10, he told me, "Weakness is emotion. Love is distraction. Only loyalty matters." I believed him. For years, I studied his every move, how he manipulated investors with charm, destroyed competitors with rumors, smiled while ending lives. I thought I'd learned strength. I hadn't. I'd learned cruelty. When I turned 26, I found the first crack, a forgotten ledger, a transfer from a shell company under my name, millions routed through illegal deals. I wasn't the heir anymore. I was the scapegoat. He was preparing to burn me alive if it kept his empire clean. That was the night I stopped being his son. Discovery: the truth behind the glass. He didn't even hide it well. The lies sat in plain sight. Board meetings without invitations, signed contracts missing my initials, quiet whispers from old friends who suddenly stopped returning calls. Then came the proof, a recording. His voice, calm, ruthless. If the audit catches wind, we pin it on him. That's what he's for. That's what I'm for. I played it again and again until the words carved themselves into my bones. The empire he built from greed was now my weapon. Shift: the planning revenge. Isn't rage, it's arithmetic. First, I went silent. He thought I was humiliated, defeated. He mistook my absence for surrender. But silence is only dangerous when it's focused. I began collecting data, old financial records, private correspondence, offshore accounts. I reached out to the people he'd stepped on, the partners he'd betrayed, the assistants he'd fired without pay. They all wanted one thing: justice, wrapped in ruin. Next came the key, his digital vault. I had the password. He didn't know I still remembered his first car's license plate. I decrypted everything: tax evasion, money laundering, political payoffs. Then I traced it all back to him. Every illegal transfer, every deal, every crime. Not one thread touched me anymore. The final step was timing. Revenge has a rhythm. It had to be public. It had to be irreversible. Execution: the fall. The night before the confrontation, I sent a single email. To the media, to the federal agency, to the board of directors. Subject line: who really owns the empire? Attached: everything. Then I walked into his mansion, the glass house he loved for its transparency. Fitting. He was pacing, papers scattered, rage in his voice as he shouted orders to clean up what couldn't be cleaned. When he saw me, the mask cracked. "You ungrateful bastard," he hissed. "You think you can destroy me?" "I don't have to," I said. "You already did." That's when he snapped. The shove came fast. Glass exploded. Pain bloomed. But I didn't flinch. I stood, blood dripping down my face, looking him dead in the eyes. "You just lost everything." He didn't understand until the first call came in. Then the second. Then the third. his lawyer, the press, the board. Every word on the other end stripped him bare. Fraud, exposure, resignation, arrest. And in his trembling silence, I saw something I had never seen before in him: fear. Climax, the breaking point. By midnight, his name was trending. By dawn, his empire was gone. The mansion, the cars, the offshore accounts, frozen. The board voted him out. His face was plastered across every screen, labeled the Empire of Lies. I didn't hide. I stood in front of cameras, calm, poised, and told the truth. My name is Zaidan Rafiq. I built the foundation you stand on, and I refuse to inherit corruption. The reporters loved it. The world devoured it. Justice had a face now, and it wasn't his. When I got home that night, the glass door was still shattered. I let it stay that way. Resolution, the quiet aftermath. He called once, from an unknown number. No words, just breathing. Then silence. I smiled. Because in the end, revenge isn't about destroying someone else. It's about reclaiming the part of yourself they tried to erase. He taught me control. He taught me power. I just turned both against him. The blood dried long ago, but the reflection in the shards still reminds me, I am not my father's son. I am what he created and what he couldn't control. And when I said, you just lost everything, I meant it. Because now, everything is mine.